Okay, I think we're recording now. I'll check in a minute. But this will be the final week of our 9-week class in AutoCAD Introductory for the shipyard. And I'm hoping to, after students are well underway with their final projects, I'm hoping to give a fire hose appetizer of what's in store for intermediate. Okay, double checking here. How did I get all these off? Rats. Refix every single one of these. Anyway, don't have any students coming in yet. So I can test the or check to make sure it's recording. Clicking more, it says pause recording. And I'll check the folder of recordings. Winter intro, Zoom recording. And that is today's date and time. So it appears that it is recording. And I don't know if I can test my microphone, but I'll find out soon enough if students can't hear me. I'll shut this down. Last I heard, we had 6 students enrolled for intermediate. And I can't decide if I want to go back years and years and find email addresses or just see what happens, because I got plenty to do without teaching AutoCAD, like getting certified so that I can teach at AutoCAD certified training centers where 100% of instructors need to pass this 50-minute 35 question, I believe. And from what I've seen online, a lot of the questions are like what we got here in the final. How many, what's the square footage of this area? It's got a much simpler exercise than this, but you got to draw it to the right specs, and then click on the area and find how much the area and perimeter is. Other ones, you draw something and you end up clicking on it and go to properties and your arc length, for example, right here. I might copy that. Hopefully I can copy paste it. Yeah, and copy paste that into the computer exam, and it's got to be a perfect match. So what else? So minimize that. Let's see if anybody's sent a message. Nope, don't see any messages from students. Better silence my phone. I did receive one final already, and it was not bad. I found a couple of mistakes that threw off this shape, so you didn't get the area that I got. But that's still acceptable work. Hey-yo. All right, we got Tabitha coming in. I'll admit Tabitha. Let's see, kill the volume on my cell phone. And Tabitha is with us. Tabitha, can you hear me all right? Your mic's off, so that's okay. We'll find out. Michael is coming in. I think there's a couple students that still are missing handouts, but don't sweat the load, because general, back when we were having class in person, you were permitted to have permitted to miss a few classes. I think it's still in the syllabus. So I really can't hold you to turn in all the homework assignments. Let's see, what is this? Okay. No, I do not want to save that. I think I'm slowly getting all of my Zoom icons organized. Oh, do we have a handout for today? I think not. All right, we'll just stretch this out then. I believe the handout, is what I gave you out. And 3/2/36. Why did I circle that? I don't remember. Might have been careless from one of these circles and got carried away. But anyway, I think this is the only handout we need to refer to. On the final project, they tell you to your contract or request your contract says build these layers with these properties, build a text style that we learned, then place the text. I interpret at least your name and date here. After building the text style and typing it all in, modify the text property so it's middle, center, justified, height, and space factor. That reminds me, some of you just love this ribbon up here. And there may be exceptions, but I think if you pick this for middle center instead of going to the properties. All right, Burgener, I got to get out, select it, right click, properties. Yeah, if you put your double click to get back the contextual ribbon. And what else? I think you can adjust the text size. Not sure if that's it. And I thought there was a way somehow you could satisfy a lot of the requirements from this ribbon, but I don't believe they result in the properties of the text being honest. It's kind of like I tell you to draw in a red layer, and instead of making a layer, you just take a red crayon or assign the current color to be red. And the more you use this top bar, the less I think your colleagues or yourself can globally change 100 drawings, because so many objects are individually airbrushed instead of using the AutoCAD properties. That reminds me, didn't I Oh, let me open up my week 8 exercise. And I got some reminders for myself. Student work, week 8, Paul. Yeah, I'm up to Paul's complete Rev Echo so far. The more I graded students, the more I realized I'd done wrong. Let's see, we've got 320. Hey, 25, I'm sorry. Oh, I'll take the hit for this. A lot of you were dimensioning the length of straight lines and attaching the dimensions to the ends of the straight line. And I really think a machinist would prefer the dimensions attached to the sharp corners before you do the filleting. Because if they're running a bandsaw, they can round this off. They cut it off at square corners and then run a bandsaw or a grinder to make the round later. Furthermore, if you attach your dimensions at the ends of the lines, then there's a little arithmetic to figure out what the width is. You got to add the length of this line plus this radius plus this radius. Some of you dimensioned this, which I think is irrelevant. An inspector's not going to look at the Christina's coming in. Diagonal line. Probably going to. Anyway, let's go back here. Yeah, a couple of you, it's as if you slept through the Zoom presentation or didn't watch the recording, but some of you insisted on going to this tab and cranking this number up super high. Ty is coming in. And well, if you're going to do that, then maybe you should go to the, make the arrowhead super big. And, make that super big. Make everything super big so that your dimensions are legible and the gaps are proportional to what your handouts have. Yada, yada, yada. But instead of doing that, just leave them the way they are. I have to admit, I don't really like the way they are, but that should be fixed in your templates. Anyway, instead of adjusting the text here to something super big, leave all that as it is and change the use overall scale of. Okay. What else do I got here? Oh, several of you, instead of putting 2x space to the left of the dimension for multiple features, you put an x2 to the right. And I wondered is that shipyard standard? Where'd you pick up that? Trying to remember. I might have seen dimensions where the text says 2 places or 16 places or something like that to the right, but not the simply 2x. Who came aboard? I didn't even look at that time. A couple of you had your drawings rigged so that anytime you place a dimension, it automatically placed it on the dimensions layer. Now, I guess, system administrators like that because they want all the dimensions to be on the same layer, but I got to get used to it because, I want my dimensions to be on the Berg layer, to show my comments and quickly determine Chulantha's coming in. So I'll have to get used to that automatic dimension layering. Another thing I think I noted a few of you, when I first started this business, I would have sworn, all right, do I not have endpoint OSNAP on? Is it not OSNAPing? Always something. Well, let me move this out here. When I first started, I thought it looked nice to have a slight air gap. Wonder if because I got my 3D OSNAPs on. Duh, got my 2D OSNAPs off. I would have guessed anything that dimensions would be attached to the end of a center line, but I forget where it was. Might have been a $100 book I borrowed that said, no, you don't want a gap between the dimension line and the center line. So my way is to just generally attach the dimension to the quadrant. And long after I'm done, I'll draw order all the dimensions behind, so that in the unlikely event somebody can tell the different colors here, the red would show instead of the magenta. Let's see, we got 430 something. How many we got here? 6 students. Okay, we talked about the going automatically to the dimension layer. A couple of you had, I think, your dim style rigs, so that this might be a good example here. Somebody coming in. David will join us. Somehow you had the dimension style was rigged so there'd be a line between the extension lines with a leader coming off the middle. I saw that in a couple students. I wondered if that was shipyard fashion or style. While I'm getting here, it frustrates me that no matter which way, how I place a dimension on a case where it can't fit in there, this one can, but what if I want it to be up over here? Okay, somebody's got a hot mic. Not a problem. So I go to slide it over here, check it out. It pops over to the right of the arrows. Well, what if I want it to the left of the arrows? Well, it's got to be down here to be to the left of the arrows. And I thought there was a way you could force it to be anywhere you want. But anyway, this is a workaround for that. As with everything, you want to leave your dimensions associative. So if you double the size of your part, then the text of the dimensions will double the reading. This one will go to what, 54 or something. However, as a last resort, you can explode a dimension and then it blasts in the individual text or M text, I forget which lines, and these are called solids, 2-dimensional solids. But anyway, once you explode it, there's no going back unless you undo to go back. You got to erase it and redraw the dimension if you want to catch up, change the style or something. Anyway, let me show you this. You explode this dimension. Now that you've exploded it, each of these parts is an individual, so that I can put it all over the place. And let's see, these are separate lines. Maybe if I mirror them. And yes, I want to delete and then move this back. And this will look perfect on the paper, but it's, when you move on and leave it for your colleagues to continue on, they'll cuss you out because they can't modify it the way we're used to doing it. And Tabitha is coming in. Why did I think Tabitha had already come in? Must have had trouble and fell out and came back. Not a problem. What else am I gonna bring up about last week's homeworks? Okay. Oh, okay. These are rules that I included on the handout. And some of you, act like they didn't even notice they were there. I won't go over them again. Yeah, this last one, weird arcs. I hope I can simulate it. Let me draw a couple of lines here. And I'll put a tiny fillet there. Say, oh, I don't know, R equals, say 0.1. Okay, Mr. Brookman is coming in. So I got this tiny little fillet there. Now, dimensioning it with a radius on the outside, I don't know which radius dimension style I got current. We'll find out. Okay, not sure if this text is big enough. Let me go to a larger text style, like a text style to part number 13. I ended up making 4 different text styles. I think in my demonstration, I suggested just 2. Some of you made just a small part and a large part dimension style. And, learning back, there's a big enough difference between piece number 17 here and piece number 15 that text is either going to be too large or too small when you print it out to fill like a quarter of a sheet of paper. Anyway, let's get back to this. I've searched a few times on why this is and what to do about it. The only ways I've heard is some cryptic, hard to remember type-in variable, which is almost the same as exploding it. Anyway, if we put a radius on the inside, yeah, see you got those silly little arcs there? What if I want my arrowhead to point to touch the arc? And I've searched and I've asked in forums and nobody can give me an answer. I wonder if this is the new international standard for dimensioning things, tight concave arcs like this. I'll have to admit I have committed the sin of exploding this and moving everything close enough so it looks good. And it looks whoa. You see the problem. Once you explode, you got to keep everything caught up. So I'll keep looking for the answer of regen. Keep looking for why it's doing that, and why it used to not do that. It's almost as if somebody put a request for it to do that. That's about all I got for the week 8s. Can't remember if I still got one to grade or not. Couple assignments came in this morning. Any questions about week number 8? I hope I sent you a copy of my version of week number 8. Come on, Burgener. D, class, winner, student work, 8. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it. Duh. I've created a layout. We'll learn this in intermediate. So these are like television sets with the camera zoomed in on those small, these are those microscopic parts. So these are television sets zoomed in to show them. Now, if I were to print this out, even though they don't, none of them take a full sheet of paper, I think I measured them exactly 0.9 in 0.09 inches tall. Now that's still legible, but you're really shooting for 0.125, a perfect eighth of an inch. I didn't go about this, but I think they're in that, 0.7 to 0.07 to 0.1. I don't think any of them are 0.125. So that's what you're shooting for. Okay, this is off the board because I stretched it out. Remember to. So and let me know if you did not receive a PDF of this, and you can compare, what I think is pretty with what you do. And again, dimensioning is an art. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect dimension, but some dimensions are better than others. I should say some dimensioning is better than others. Oh, here's, for some reason I put REF there. Rather, but it's pretty odd. When you got a center line, when things look like they're symmetric, it's assumed that you can assume they are symmetric. So I might rethink that again. That's about all I got for review from week number 8. Time permitting, I want to go through the intermediate handouts. But let me nuts. I need to open up my my partially done Paul final. I realize nobody wants to talk on the internet. Ask me some questions. What parts of the final exam? Oh, I'm in week 8. Okay, we'll go to final. Paul. Yeah, I believe this is where I left off last week. I haven't created the layers yet. I haven't created the text style. Did I just close it? No. Paul file. Okay, looks like I had it open already. Nope. Okay, that should be a handout final instead of Paul final. But where are you stumped with? I'm not going to really beat on you for not making the center lines as pretty as I got. Again, the Rev B, I added these because a student pointed out I was missing them. I don't think I beat on, well, it's not too late. Yeah, I will hold you to the plus signs. Little plus signs. Remember, there's several ways of making plus signs. Let me open up my partially done one here. I'll erase this guy, erase. Probably the easiest way, all of these arcs and circle, I shouldn't say all, but most of them are good. You're going to place a dimension to say it's, you know, this diameter or this radius. I don't, I guess the modification, well, let's go back here. Dimension style. Okay, it does not say whether to set a mark or a none or a line for the radius and radial and diametric dimensions. By default, I believe it's set for mark. So let's start a new, create new, you know, again, don't change anything named standard. Trying to think. Might have seen somebody, anyway. We'll create new, we'll say, I don't know, junk or something, click continue. And I believe by default, mark is already here checked on the symbols and arrows tab. So that'll put a tiny little plus sign less than 1/10 of a unit, which will appear as a dot on those big parts. By the way, you can make it bigger by just cranking up this number. I'll bail out. Line means that the line that this number then applies to how far the line sticks outside of the circle, as I remember. Lately, I've been setting mine to none so I can, you know, manually make the pretty little red plus signs, and the purple plus signs won't overpower the tiny little red plus signs. But feel free to, you know, make your add, you know, leave it as mark, and that'll satisfy the bill of but have plus signs at the center. Cancel out. Oh yeah. Did I bail? Did I skip that dimension style? I thought I named it junk. Well, let's use copy as standard. I can't remember where it came from. No, let's check what the fit is 60. So this is going to be a pretty big size. I don't believe that factor of 60 magnifies the plus sign. We'll find out. Let me dimension this guy and let's see what happens. Move the dimension out of the way. Yeah, that confirms. I don't know if this is good or bad, but the tiny little plus sign put in the center of the circle or the center of an arc appears to have be not influenced in the least at the use overall scale of. You know, again, this use overall scale of multiplies the default text height, text placement. I think that means it multiplies the tiny little gap right here. This little gap right there, I believe, is the offset from dimension line. Let's see, again, arrow size, but again, it does not appear to have an effect on the mark size. Yeah, this extend beyond dim lines. That's this length right here. So some of you, I didn't notice it while grading, but if you crank the text up, your text might be legible, but you ain't got no little extension here, and the arrowhead might be microscopic. What else? Another way of dimensioning a plate. Let me turn off the line weight. Another way is to go to the annotate tab and simply put a center mark in the middle of each circle and arc. I think I talked about this before. Then you're at the mercy of how long this line is. I believe it even uses a center line type, which might be visible. So that's another way, but anyway. Well, I'm tempted just to fill up time and go make the layers, make the dim style, make the text properties. If nobody has a specific area, notice there's two of these tangent to tangent lines. Again, I suggest for those, turn all of them off except tangent. Draw those two lines tangent to tangent. And then before you get in trouble, put back the 5. I think both of these can be made by the fillet command, but I probably use circle TTR for tangent radius when I did them. Okay, that arrowhead's because the 35 snuck away. No? Yes. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and make layer, proceed.
I have a question.
Yes, Noah.
When you're asking for the inner area, is that encompassing inner area minus that little, like, I guess, thin layer in between the circles and the arcs, or is that including that?
Let me, I think this will answer your question. Now what happened? Oh, did what? So this is the area that I want you to find the geometry of.
Okay.
In other words, it's, if these were all wires glued to a desk, you put a spoonful of paint, it'll fill up this area. And that's the area that I want you to confirm. The slightest mistake, like one student, I think the student made this 56.98 for some reason, but that slight difference threw these circles off, and that threw off everything, the 10,000th or so. But let me see if I can get two drawings viewable at the same time. There's my handout. Where's my working assignment? All right, layers, object green, that width, yada, yada, yada. So over here, yep. Please don't make me minimize everything. I got intermediate handouts open to whet your appetite to see what you're getting into. Okay. Where did it go? Well, there's a way to go between all these open drawings I got. Control Tab, I believe, will toggle until I got Paul Final. And where's the other one? Did I just close it? Okay, there's the Paul Final. I might have accidentally closed it. Anyway, you can hold Control and tab and keep tapping the tab button. And it looks like I closed it. Drawing. Okay, Paul Final. Did I do it again? There we go. All right, make these layers. Again, in the introductory class, layers are, one of the topics anyway. We'll go here on the Home tab to Layers. Click the Layer Property Manager. We can machine gun. How did they get into this? Actually, I got active the handout file. I want to get active my working file here. And it should only have layer 0. So keep tapping this. We want one called Object, which should be green. 50 millimeters heavy. I'm sorry, 0.5 millimeters heavy. And we'll resize the layers. Nothing else, so just leave it as continuous. Leave it as plotting. And you don't know anything about all these other columns, so don't touch them. Another one is center. We'll click new. Now keep in mind, if when I have a layer selected, that when I click new, the new one is going to be green and this line weight. Sometimes that helps you. Sometimes it frustrates me. I'm going to select 0 layer so that the new layer will be identical to the 0 layer, continuous and default. So tap that. We want center. Color red. And center line type and 15 millimeters. Well, again, because of the way AutoCAD is coded, every time you load a line type to make it available in your drawing, it adds a little bit of file size. So that's why a brand new start from scratch drawing only has continuous. So the load line types, click on the word continuous. Click the load button. And by the way, let's take a note here. We need to load center. Okay, there's no hidden lines in here. So that's the only one we need to load. Click load, scroll down and select center, click OK. Now it's not assigned to the layer yet. It's just loaded into the menu of line types. So click OK when you're done loading line types into the menu. And I messed up. Before you click OK, select it so that it is assigned to the selected layer. Click OK, and that'll fix that one. We want another one. Sometime when you're making all three center line layers, I might leave center selected, so at least I got the color riding to them all. But let's go to the dimensions layer. That should be color magenta. That's just my standard. Follow whatever your office or department tells you. 0.15 millimeter. Oh, I forgot to change the center, didn't I? We'll change center to 0.15 millimeter. Last one is text blue and everything else default. I'll click 0 so I know what I'm starting with. And that'll be text. Probably shouldn't care, but we'll make text color blue. Again, these colors, you see the name of the color here. They're also numbered, 1, 2, 3. You can see the number above. So you can type number 5 into this, and or I believe type the word blue. Never tried it, but anyway, all of these you can only identify by the number. And by the way, this is a feature I haven't gotten used to, but apparently this you can pick any, I don't know how many 100,000 or a million or however many colors there are. And some people like to use this. I guess this is for an interior designer to, pick colors that somebody says look good together. Anyway, where was I? Okay, text, we want blue. And default, continuous, yada, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got everything there. We'll close the layer property manager dialog box. While we're here, let's just keep going with all these overhead work in the drawing. Let's create a text style named final. With that font, I forget what it's called, flavor, width factor 0.85, which I wish was the default all the time. For every time I'm type a comment into your homework, I select my M text and go over and change the width factor to 0.8 or 0.85. One of these days I might study to see how start from scratch drawing, how I could permanently set the width factor. So anything I do in M text will be 0.85 until I change it, /8. So text style is on the annotation tab, same place as dimension style. And I've played a little bit with leader styles, but I have so few leaders that it's quicker just to draw it with lines or polylines or a line and a solid to form the arrowhead. Table styles I've taught out of textbooks a time or two, but I don't know that I've seen them in industry yet. I'm always a couple years behind the times, though. By the time I get the AutoCAD drawing, it's the project has gone on a couple years. Where was I? Oh, annotation, text style. Nope, we want dimension style. We want text style. Wrong icon, not wrong word. So click on the text style icon. never rename, never modify anything in standard. We want to use standard for our the clone of our to start our new text style. We'll click new, name it final. It's already darkened out for you to rename it. Click OK. There it is, font style, not flavor. Oh, let's first change the text font to new Times New Roman. Times New Roman, there it is. I've never done this, but if you can find out where these fonts are, and that's out of the options. And you can buy true type fonts and add them to your AutoCAD. There's a risk though that whoever's receiving your drawing might not have that font installed. And he or she will open up your file and get an error message. Hey, that font's not loaded. You want to use standard or whatever Arial as for the font, since we don't have Fred Bailey or whatever the name of the font is. You can package your drawing. I've been doing that lately by e-transmit, and that'll bundle all the added in fonts, the images, what else? Several other things. XREFs we'll get into. Anyway, let's see, change the style or flavor to bold. Width of 0.85. One student had that set. I think, I don't remember writing about it, but my advice is always, always, always leave that 0. And usually I see that as 0 in the professional drawings I see, but drawing for or text to be placed in the title block might, anyway. Width factor 0.85. And oblique angle 8. That'll roll the letters clockwise. The only exception I know of to the positive angle is counterclockwise. Double check name, font, style, width of 0.85, oblique of 8. We'll set current. We'll probably use it soon. Not sure why it asked that, but always click yes and close. And what the heck? Let's place the text. I realize it's way early, but let's just go down the list here. We'll set current our text layer just created. And we'll launch the mText. I'll double click on this and set it to the right properties later. But I'll just pick a random height. Right click and you can select height before you begin typing. Not very intuitive, but I'm sure there's a technical computer reason why it's that way. Okay. Everything in here is done on the properties dialog box. I take that back. Let me start over. You can change several things. Like here, I can go to height, make it 15. I can right click again and set the justification to MC for middle center. And I believe I can adjust the space factor with a right click before the second corner. Line spacing. We don't want exactly, we want a factor. Line spacing type. Okay, I don't see the word factor here. We want it to be exactly instead of at least. You want to choose at least if you got fractions. That might take a little bit more white space between lines of text. We'll click exactly. There's the factor, that X there. Space factor. Why do I have space factor written? That's not what I just right click to select. Anyway, I'll change it to 0.85 and hit enter. Line spacing factor or distance. Didn't I just type 0.85, enter? Okay, maybe I got to type 0.85x when doing it from the command prompt. Okay, it bought that. I guess it shows I'm so used to doing it from the properties dialog box. Rotation is a waste of space on the screen to me. You might as well just rotate it after you've finished typing it. Style, I think we've already defined. Width might be the same as clicking, to the right side. Columns, I wish it would always stay one column. I found a way to fix it. I'll show you in a second if I don't forget. Anyway, we'll set the margin, and we'll just type something, and we'll word wrap, and we will not hit enter at the end of each line. We'll click outside. We'll rely on the width of the text object to control the line spacing. It's frustrating. I think your object snap is biting you, and the text collapses very easily. So I always grip at it at a 45-degree line, so it won't collapse. Where was I? Let's select that, right click, properties, line space factor. Okay, my handout said space factor. I should add the word line. In 10 minutes I'm going to forget about it, but do it now. Hopefully I'll use the same file next time I teach this class. Line space factor. I didn't notice if it was capitalized or not, but I won't worry about that. Click in blank space. So we've got our text properties. Once we double click on it and retype it, there we go. Eventually it'll say paulfinal.dwg, I think. And I think we're asked us to put the date down. I forget which of the many formats of writing a date I had on the handout. Let's see, click in the handout. Okay, first and last name, date. First, okay, always something. All right, we'll put Control X, put the date before. And I'll add my last name. Why is it I keep habitually type the second letter as a capital? Guess my finger doesn't get off the shift key fast enough. And first and last name, well, let's see, Control C, Control V. And I put Burgener in the wrong space, so there. March 2nd. First and last name. Date in that format, first name and final. Okay, there's all we need for the text. Except we'll use that text style to create the dimension style. So let's do that, same place, annotation. You know, I've played with this so many times, I got several text styles named final. Should purge them out, but never think about it at the right time. We'll start with standard. I'll say it many, many times, don't alter standard, click new. We'll name it final. Since I already got so many finals, I'll name it the next number up, which I can't remember, say final 6. Click continue. Okay, we got it named final. Use text style final. That would be on the text tab. Remember, I learned you'd mess with these 3 and nothing else, with the possible exception of this center mark. On the text tab, we'll say the style should be final. Why is final? Oh, final 6 is the dimension style. Text style we want. Interesting, it didn't tell me that's already, I've already got a text style named final. Okay, you use overall scale, name final, use text style final, the overall scale is 60. That's on the fit tab. I'm tempted to say this is the most important, possibly the, you know, if you only learn one thing about dimensioning, it's putting a number here to make arrowheads and text gaps and whiskers all bigger. And, you know, the precision and whether it's got a leading 0 or not still won't stop a machinist from looking at your paper printout and making the part. He or she may ask, well, do you really need that made to the nearest 10,000th of an inch? Oh, no, that's just how the dimensioning was set. Okay. You'll probably make it to the nearest 100th then. Where was I? The primary units. Set precision to, and I can't see where I am. I hate it when this happens. Precision to 00. Go back again. Oh, let's see. Current dimension style. Didn't I name it final 6? Well, pretend I didn't see that. We'll click new. Okay, here we go. I must have bailed out. Final 6, say, with or without a blank space. Click continue. Oh, no, I want to start with a clone of standard. Okay, so there's no surprises if somebody messed up my text style, you know, a week ago. Click continue. And we got standard, we got the final text style fit set to 60, because this is a, you know, assuming an AutoCAD unit is an inch, which is unlikely, but this is an incredibly large object, well, not for shipbuilding, but use overall scale of 60. Set the linear precision to 00. Okay, my handout doesn't tell you, but that's on the primary units tab. Drop that down, pick 00, and suppress trailing. Now for homework 8, I told you to check all 4 of these, and I don't see any harm in checking all 4 of them habitually and knocking this down to a higher precision That way, if you dimension something and it says 45 degrees, it could be 45.12345. If you got this dropped down, it'll expose that, hey, you drew this at the wrong angle. It's not a perfect 45. So, but it's not on the handout. I think we're all done with the dimension style. Name final. Text style final. Overall scale of 60. Linear precision to double zeros. I still haven't figured out what this round off does. In fact, I wonder if it's always been there. One of you, did I mention this? Never change this from 1. Because if you change it from 1, then your dimensions are not telling the truth. If you change it for 2, your dimensions will tell the machinist it's exactly half the size or twice the size that you drew it. The machinist will never know the difference, but bad habit. Scale your entire drawing by a factor of 2 and always leave this so the dimensions are always honest. That's about it. Click OK, click set current because we'll likely use it later. Click close. I think we can machine gun through this pretty quick. I'll select it. Oh no. I'll carefully select everything that's going to go to the object layer. May have forgotten some and may have gotten a few too many. How can we change them? We could go to the properties of the selected stuff, but it's just as easy to go down to here, object. Now to check the warm and fuzzy, object should be 50 millimeters. So when we hit the, oh, it's already hit. Why is it not fat? There we go. Okay, I think it's not fat because I modified my resolution. Line weight settings by right-clicking here. And I slid my display scale a hair to the thin side. I was too lazy to change the line weight of the layer. This was less mouse movement anyway. It's a good habit to leave all these slider scales midway. Click OK, fattened up a little bit. I'll turn off the line weight. Okay, these guys we want to put on center, so I'll select them. I haven't created them down there yet, so we'll drop down and select center. It's not too late to go to the properties and get the cute little plus sign now. We got them all selected. Let's change the line type scale. Probably much higher. I can't remember. 5, enter. I saw him twitch. Okay, got so many dashes, that means I'm still on the small side. So I'll select them again. Probably a way I could have typed select, enter, and then P for previous. Change that to maybe 60, the use overall scale of we've used. Yep, a little too high. And that's interesting. Why don't my center lines share the exact same midpoint? Wonder how that happened. Maybe change it to 40. Interesting. Change it to 30. There we go. Now, so I'm guessing like 25 to 35 will tweak the little the spaces here if they're too big. You know, and once in a while the red will fall exactly on an object line, and I might tweak this line type scale just so the end of the red does not terminate on the green object line. Yeah, it looks like this guy's a hair off center. Don't tell anybody. Interesting. Why does that dot not go to the center? Well, add it to the mysteries of life. I guess I can erase all of these. Time to dimension. Yeah, let's dimension. Now, since we don't know where this point is, I'll have to oh, yeah, we do. Just go, it's the center of all of these arcs. So I'll start a line. I've got to activate my drawing. There it is. Hit enter for the last used command. I'll move these to the dimension layer. You know, I use, make lines on the dimension layer just so the extension line won't go over across the plus sign there. I don't think that's breaks any rules. Dimension layer is current. Nope, I'm in the wrong drawing. Duh. Back on here, let's make dimension layer current. And we'll dimension from here. Var to var. And go up. And why is the text so tiny? Dim style is standard. Somehow I failed to click the set current when I created the final. Interesting. I failed to create the dim style. Did I create it in my completed assignment? Probably. All right, be that way. Start with standard, new, final. Continue. Text should be final. Fit, I'll double check this. I think it was 60. Primary units change to 00 and suppress. I think I said trailing. Click OK, click. There was no set current. Oh, there it is. The window moved. Set current. Close. We'll move these to the dimensions layer. Hit escape to deselect and confirm that dimensions layer is current. Let's select this guy, and in the properties window for it, we'll change it to the new final dimension style. And I'll be aware you can grip edit these things. Just click on the grip you want to tweak and slide it all over the place. If you want to slide it in or out without accidentally moving it to the side, You can click one of these on the ends and it'll go up and down the extension line without messing up the middle of the, the horizontal placement. I'll draw an arc from there to there. No, well, I'll do the circle. Now, how do I trim it so that I only leave this in the middle? Well, one way is to put a cutting edge at each end. Launch the trim command. Instead of hitting enter so that everything's a cutting edge, just make these two guidelines cutting edges and click outside of them. Oh, forgot to hit enter. Click outside of them. Hit escape to deselect. Lose these. And move this guy to the center layer and tweak the, I think 30 is what we used before. So now we got something to place this, the radial dimension on. Drop down radius. Can't go wrong if you follow the handout. Looks like my handout's a little bit higher than what I typed in. I typed in 30, might be 35 or 40, but now why does that not come out 200, 210? All right, we got that selected. Its radius is 209 something. I'll bet you it's because this center line is slightly off. Maybe. Maybe they're both slightly off. And I can change the radius to a perfect 210 enter. Now let's zoom in and yeah, there's a tad error. Hit a regen to be sure. So it looks like I'll need to redo these horizontal lines, at least, yep, both of them. And it looks like for some reason, they both slipped away while I wasn't looking. So if I think about it, I'll rebuild them. Where was I? Dimensioning. We can put the 70 units there. Drop down, click angular, select these two make active the drawing I want. Did I lose the command in progress? Probably. Angular. Select these two. Now remember, by clicking on the end of the center line, I get a little whisker, a little air gap there. The handout does not have them. And last fall, I'll just snap it at this intersection. RE to purify it. Might have been better to use a near snap override, but on paper people can't tell the difference in color of something so thin. So I'll slide this one. I'll use a near snap NEA, and I can put it anywhere that I want. There. So now I got just a microscopic overlap. By the way, whoa. Okay, I thought I saw the red one under the magenta one. Where else? Okay, 50 from there to there. I'll draw a guideline, which I probably got a bit long. What the heck? We'll put it there. Dimension angle again, O snap from that center line to that center line. And sometimes, but not always, you can O snap on an arrowhead to make them perfect. Diameter for the big one. Okay, I got diameter for both. So up to discussion, if it's a circle, you want diameter. If it's an arc, you want the radius. Well, what if it's a 180-degree arc? Is that closer to a circle? I don't know. I kind of think the machinist that mills out this slot from the casting will probably grab a tool by its diameter, not by its radius. So let's follow the handout. Drop down diameter, click in place. And click in place. Later, when I'm grip editing, I might tweak out both of these, both this radius, our angle and that one, just to get more white space there. Go back to the handout, 38. On the dimension tab, we'll draw a kind of like a manually created extension line. Want it longer? Okay, we'll scale it up longer. Make it however long that is. Drop down angle. And I don't know that, I don't think you can, sometimes pieces of dimensions behave like objects and other times they don't. Let's see if I can use this as one of the two lines for the angle. Nope, object selected is not a line, arc, or circle. All right, be that way. We'll go off our guideline on the dimension layer and O snap there. And let's shave off the end here. Now, one way we could just grip edit it back down to the arrowhead. Why did it not grip edit down to the arrowhead? Well, can we make a cutting edge? Interesting, it doesn't have that little whisker. Always something. I mentioned these two, diameter 56, diameter 32. Place another guide. Just notice there's a gap right there, isn't there? Not sure if that would lose me the job offer or not if I showed them that. Line, activate the drawing I'm working in. Double check I'm at the intersection of the endpoint. Okay, remember we set polar angles, so I don't have to stop there and then scale it up. I forgot about the additional angles. We'll place it there and go to the angles icon. Nope, angular. And select these two lines. And I don't know, it's probably nice to have it, have them all arrow to arrow to arrow. But that takes up a lot more paper space, especially when I'm creating the handout. So that's why I put it back down here. So it didn't go off the bottom of the printout. Let's see, I don't think they got any more angles. Let's machine gun some radius. Go to some diameters. Now we want a dimension from there to there. That would be an aligned dimension. Oh, snap at the center point. I'll minimize stuff crossing. I'll grip edit this guy a wee bit closer to the object. On second thought, bail out. I'll move this guy further out and then move the 90 so it can easily be read away from that radius. Same thing from here to there. Aligned, oh snap, oh snap. Here we go. By the way, I think I pinged one student because the dimension to the arc was so close to the circle here. A machinist might carelessly think that, hey, this circle is a 90 unit radius circle. And, I think the machinist would quickly learn that it's not. But let me undo. Radius there. Diameter and diameter up there. And I suppose perhaps I should put 2x in front of these for both ends. But I think it's reasonable to assume that it's a uniform jelly bean. So I don't think anybody would, fire me for adding that. Then do I add them over here? Anyway, we'll go to the diameter. Diameter. And get my plus signs. Let me go ahead and build one of these and then call that good enough. I'll start with a circle this big and then scale it by a factor of 1.3 so it bumps it a hair out. Circle radius. For good measure, I'll be sure I'm on the center of this arc, not the middle of the line. Come on out to a quadrant or a midpoint of the arc. Scale this guy, enter. Why did it not? Okay, I'm hitting scale objects. Not sure what stalled me there. Click at that point, 1.3 and hit enter. Check that out. I'll shave that little whisker off, enter so everything's a cutting edge. Now I'll use my little cheater trim guidelines. And circle radius. It frustrates me that the ends of these little plus signs are targets for the endpoint object snap. I wish there was a setting you could disable that. Come on out to center of the circle. And we will trim, instead of hitting enter for everything, we'll just select that as a cutting edge. And this is a cutting edge. Now that I think of it, I could just pick this for both ends, couldn't I? Hit enter when I got two cutting edges. And select there, and it's history. Lose this guy. Move. Oh no, I'll use match properties to match it to this guy. And that'll set not only the layer, which controls the line type, but it'll also control the LT scale, which interests me. Why is it? Oh, okay, I don't have it selected. There we go. I got line type scale of 30 for both of them. Now I'll lose the guide circle. All right, we need the area yet. Now this is a good example of when you want to isolate a layer. You know, I could freeze this layer, freeze that layer. You know, might have hidden lines and several others, or just isolate the object layer. I'm liking this more and more. Click isolate, select an object on the layer you want to work on without disrupting anything else. And hit, you can hit multiple layers, by the way. Hit enter. Now I got a clear shot at this. If the wind's blowing right, I can use this new hatch with a boundary instead of trimming all these points and then p-edit joining it in, or simply joining it into one. I'm starting to get spoiled by this hatch boundary. Look like it's successful. Don't see any error messages. Hit enter. I'll click on it. The property says it is already closed. So that's a good sign. We'll click on it. There's my area and the length. They're grayed out, so it's a little difficult to copy them. So I'll go on the calculator here and take advantage that where it is calculate. Copyable. Control C, close that, make active this, and I'll, for good measure, on second thought, I'll put it all on Notepad. You also got the length here. Watch this turn out totally different than my handout says. Control C, close that, go back to Notepad. And this is the perimeter. Okay, all done. Hit unisolate. And that returns all the layers that they temporary. By the way, it's a little frustrating if you forget that you notice that it turns off all the layers except the one that you've isolated. And I'm at a loss on why they coded it to turn them off instead of freezing them, but I won't lose any sleep. Click unisolate. Yeah, what the heck? Let's move this guy into the middle here and double click it and insert the text. Copy, select. Okay, we'll go to our notepad, select Control A for all, Control C for copy to clipboard. Minimize that in case I got to come back. Double click, drag across everything, Control V. Now the handout says inner area is. Can't go wrong if you copy your instructor's handout. Area is. And I might put an enter at the end of the first line. Doubt I'll need to. Its perimeter is P. And wouldn't you know, I put it in the wrong place. Control X to cut. Click before the perimeter number and Control V to paste. Click outside to finish the text editor. I got an extra its. All right, I'll fix that. Control X to cut, Control V to paste, space. Click outside, grip edit it. Notice I'm not putting enter buttons anywhere. And we'll grip edit move this guy so it's a little off the object line. Let's see if that, and no, it does not. All right, I'll have to ping myself. Did you all get these numbers? I think I did this enough times that I'm convinced what I've got on a non-plotting layer is correct. All right, I'm kind of curious where the error is. We will lock the object layer in this drawing. We will rename the object layer in this drawing. We'll call it, say, object, I don't know, H for handout. Make it say a different shade of green. Close, and I'm going to copy everything on that green layer over here and snap it so I can find where the gap is. I'll isolate the object H layer to copy from one drawing to another. You can't just use copy command. Instead, use the Windows clipboard. Right click, select clipboard. I've had good luck with copy with base point. You might try just copy, but I'm going to continue with my old ways. Copy with base point. I'll pick any point. Well, I'll pick right there. Select everything, hit enter. Move over to this guy. Right click, clipboard, paste. And snap him right on top. Now there's where my error is. I'll unisolate. Okay, there's where I hosed up. That should be 65, not 75. Now, while I got the You know, I could just snap these two together, but do it the proper way. Line. Do I have an polar tracking set for? Okay, I don't. Let's see. It should be a negative 35 and 65. That's 100, right? Yeah. Maybe I did my arithmetic wrong last week. So we'll set a additional angle. Yep, ain't got no 100 there. We'll click new and put negative 100, enter. That turns out to be 250. Was that already there? Maybe that 260 is what I had that caused it to be off. I'll delete the 260 so I don't get confused. Click OK. Draw another guideline. Right through the, what I brought in. It's now on the object H layer. I'll freeze the object H layer for the time being. Oh, is it current? Okay, drop down, freeze the object. Interesting. Okay, I thought for a second I couldn't freeze a locked layer, but all right, we'll need to lose those two arcs and rebuild them. We'll move these guys from the center point to right there, taking advantage of that extension line, and redo the 90 and the 180. I've been using Circle TTR, but for variety, I'll launch fillet, right click, radius of 180, enter, snap where I think it will touch. And I forgot that, not a problem. I don't think I officially learned you, but the extend command will propagate it right back to the object or the center line. Enter, and then snap, and then click. This guy's a radius of 90, so we'll launch the fillet command again, right click radius, set it to 90 and hit enter. Okay, let's isolate the, let's do the, just occurred to me, what happened to that boundary I created before? Don't remember erasing it. We'll go over to the hatch, drop down to boundary, pick point, click, hit enter, and let me do the list, LI enter. That'll save me the work of all that copy paste stuff. Control C, unisolate. Okay, I'm still in the list process. Hit escape, unisolate, double click. I'll put it all there, Control V. Inner area is delete. It's ITS perimeter is delete. I could have. I was thinking fast enough. I probably could have. Anyway, there's a bunch of blank spaces to the left here, so I'll double click and drag across. I'll grip edit again. And I'm still not accurate. Well, don't tell anybody. The area is significantly off of this. Let me thaw the object H. Well, you got me curious. Let me check that these numbers are correct. Isolate. LI enter. Oops, still in the escape too early. Enter. Select an LI. Hit F2 to bring back the text window. I think that is exactly what I had. Unisolate. Yep, that's the same as I had. So I am at a loss on where the difference is. Recall this happening before. Well, I may work later on that. 6 o'clock. Okay, well, obviously I can't ping you for not matching my numbers because I can't match them either. Any questions about anything left? Oh, I forgot to add that angle dimension back. Did I just move that circle back where it was? Why is that not 65? Well, let's dimension all the way from there to there. And that's 110. And when I overlay, in fact, I got both of them turned on now. Well, I'm going to measure between these two and compare the distance between those two. Okay, this says 83 and this says 92. What did I do different? When I drew this guideline, didn't it go right through the center line of the object H item? Well, I'm tempted to redo what I did. Maybe double and triple checking that I get this angle at 65, not 75.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of trouble getting my arrows to look like yours. Like I can get an arrow, but I don't have the same numbers at all. Or I don't even know how to get numbers.
By numbers, you mean the text within the dimension?
Yeah. Like I can get an arrow, but I don't know how to get that text.
Well, I wonder if the text is too small. Let's compare dimension styles. I'll go to the dimension style. Let me stick with this one since yeah. Okay, you with me, Christina?
Yeah, I'm in dimension.
Okay, I'm opening up my final dimension style. And let's start on text. You got that the same as mine, 0.18.
Yes.
Okay, fit, you got this is 60 like mine.
Yes, I have it as 60.
I wonder if you change something, somehow made the arrowhead, like set the arrow. Well, that doesn't make sense. Text you got is final. I wonder if your final text style is the guilty culprit.
I have mine as just final.
Well, if you assigned a text height within the text style, then this 60 factor of 60 has absolutely no effect on it's lost control of the height of your text dimension text. You with me? So let's compare text style. You got 0 written there, not 0.180.
Yeah, I have it as 0.
And you're confident if if you zoom out enough and place a dimension between 2 points, you don't get text there either.
Wait, can you redo what you just did?
Yeah, I grabbed onto the linear dimension tool and picked 2 points out in space, plenty far away that there'll be space enough for text to form between the arrowheads.
Okay, yeah, now I got it. Yeah. It has I guess it was just really tiny when I was doing it before. I'm not really sure why.
Another idea, I wonder if you might have zoomed in so far that the text was off the screen. If the size of the text cannot fit between the extension lines, then it'll get bumped outside the extension lines. Like I'll draw I'll draw 2 really close lines, dimension between them. Now, if you're zoomed in here, you don't see no text. That's not what's happening, is it?
I'm not sure. I kind of just kept deleting it after I saw that there wasn't any numbers. So all my old arrows are gone. My problematic arrows.
Well, email me the file, Christina, and that got me curious. I'm thinking there's a way to set the color of the text. Your text color should always be by block. And I wonder if you might have set it to, I don't know, a dark shade of.
Yeah, I think my arrows were like gray before. So I think I might have just had it on the wrong layer or something. Like I might have, yeah.
I was gonna try. I don't know of a way you can put the text of a dimension on a
Oh.
separate layer.
Oh, then I don't know what what I did.
Yeah, send me the email and
Okay.
so do what you
Well,
can. Well,
okay. Yeah, I mean, I got like the I got it now. I just hopefully I deleted all the or I erased all of the other arrows. Hopefully they don't show up when I submit it.
I don't know, turn on and thaw all your layers. And I wonder if they remain on a frozen or a turned off layer. Anyway, let me give you all I will go back and fix this guy, but let me show you what's in store for intermediate class, if I may. No questions about the final?
Is it the finish due next Tuesday or sooner?
Well, I hate to tell you this, but within a few days, I'm going to get pinged for at least who gets a certificate.
Okay.
Not sure if I dare say everybody present today or watching the video later will get on my list to send to Tom Bauer, because then if I say that, he'll say, "Oh, what the hell with it? I'm not doing anything." How about maybe I'll send a message out. How about Thursday night? That's reasonable. Maybe email me something by Thursday night. And I'm trying to remember if last quarter, if I was permitted to get the list of certificate students to Sherry and Tom the Monday after our class. So let's say Thursday night, and I'll email Sherry and say, hey, what's the latest I can get the list of students to you? And email you all if you can blow it off till Tuesday, or send me what you got, regardless of what you got, by Thursday at noon. Actually, there's night classes on a Friday. And you can't expect the Friday classes to finalize all the paperwork, in just a couple hours. Does that question your answer?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I was just curious. I'm still working on finishing up the dimensions, so I should be probably done tonight. I was just curious if it was done by like 7 tonight or not.
Writing down Thursday midnight, and I'll ask Sherry how soon she needs that, and I hope she doesn't try to accelerate me by giving me a ridiculous deadline. All right, let me show you what last I heard, only 6 have signed up for intermediate, and they might say, 6 is close enough. Can't remember if that's happened. I know they've said, that's close enough for a couple of times when there's fewer than 10. The real test is how many students, show up the first day, because there's always a couple of no-shows. And so I'll stay in touch with you. Anyway, let me show you what's in store. These are my AutoCAD files for the handouts.
I had actually a question about the intermediates. You said in the beginning that we need some different version of AutoCAD for the intermediate.
I believe what you're referring to, Noah, is that if you are using AutoCAD LT now, which is the cheapest software if you have to buy it, an old AutoCAD LT works fine for introductory, but it has no capability for the 3D modeling or programming. Noah, do you have LT version?
I do have LT. And I don't remember how much you said that the more expensive one would cost, or what it is.
Well, not sure what to tell you. I believe I attempted once before, and I'll try it again. I would hope that the company you bought it from would give you a discount to buy the upgraded one. The full AutoCAD, only charge you the difference maybe. But I believe I sent them a text message, and I believe they never got back to me on if your LT would have a trade-in value on the full AutoCAD.
I'll talk with the vendor that you sent to us and see what I can figure out, because that's a big deciding factor for me is
Right.
the money.
I understand. Appreciate you letting me know. I don't think you could, you've already tried to get a shipyard laptop? No?
My laptop currently will not run AutoCAD. It's one of the newer, light laptops. It's not the whatever you call it, the workstations.
Noah, do you have the the Elite Book laptop?
Maybe the small thin one.
Yeah, the one that turns into a tablet.
It doesn't turn into a tablet, but it is smaller than the workstation.
I know because I'm using my Shipyard laptop, and it might not be the same one you have, but it's the Elite Book, and it runs the Autodesk AutoCAD just fine. I haven't tried to use the other ones, but I don't know. I would double check again before you pay for something. I guess I don't know. Trying to help
I'll
you.
look into maybe seeing if I can get AutoCAD on the work laptop then, and then just doing it on there and being online on like my computer.
Mm-hmm.
That may work out well.
Yeah. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know if you want me to speak to your boss or anything, Noah, except buy it, pay for it.
All right.
But
Appreciate it.
keep me posted. Hope it works out. Right off the bat in introductory, I'm going to give a placement exam. I think this is exercise 90. And I'm going to ask students to draw the exercise 90 exactly as it is in the book. And some students realize that, holy cow, it's been, I haven't had introductory since college or tech school. Well, boy, I've forgotten everything. So it always scares a few away, which jeopardizes the class, because if we drop too low, then they threaten to cancel it. I don't think we've ever had a class canceled. Vaguely recall we merged 2 introductory classes together. I think they were on different days, and the enrollment dropped to, I don't know, 6 or 8 in each class. So we picked one of the 2 days and merged them together, but I can't recall a class ever getting canceled, if students drop out. Also, I'm adding layouts and paper space the very first night, because I feel bad. In the past I've had it held out until week 5. So week 5 we'll play with layouts and paper space with solid objects that we've drawn. But right away you'll learn the beauty of layouts and paper space for 2-dimensional drawings. These are both locked viewports, they're called. Think of them like television sets. And this square television set has got a zoom factor, so it's at a certain scale when you print it out on paper, where this weird shaped television set is at a slightly different scale, so things appear larger. I'll go to the properties. Actually, I can unlock them from the right-click menu here. And some people describe these viewports as if it's a window looking into a building in which your drawing is. You can zoom in and out and see closer or further away, as if your drawing was moving further from the window or closer to the window. And you can pan and zoom and see everything there is on the model tab. Up to this point we've been on the model tab here. There's a couple of ways we make these. You can move them around, and here's a viewport that I've rigged so I can alter the shape of it and wrap it around, nice and neat. We'll cover that. The second week we'll play with blocks. Why is it taking so long? We'll learn the box command and make a couple of shaped boxes. We'll learn the 3D orbit command, which I don't believe works in paper space. You can draw 3D, but I've never seen a 3D view of paper space. Anyway, we'll build these and then we'll stack them up, kind of using the N.0 snap, and just copy and snap them together. And here we rotate them. snap them corner to corner and then rotate them at this point. Some of these we might pass. This is an exercise I developed many years ago for pencil work. Students were to see these objects and draw the front, top, and right side view of them. And by freezing different layers, I could show them the front, top, and right side view of them, and they're to sketch the isometric drawing. So I'm thinking to give you more practice with the boxes, I might pick a column or a row and assign for homework. Moving right along, bum-ba-dum. Again, a lot of these are kind of repetitive. We might jump across them. Here we extrude a pentagon, a triangle, and a hexagon, pentagon, and triangle. And we learned the extrude command, which is extremely popular. Most of the drawings in your textbook, you can turn to 3D just simply by extruding the polyline perimeter of them. And we'll learn other ways to manipulate them, snap them together and align them. And then here at the bottom, we'll make some pieces and practice the subtract command. So with a box, we can slide it into this, what was that, a hexagon? Yeah. We can slide it in and from the big object, subtract the small object. And that's the way I always make holes is, build a cylinder, move it in place, and then vaporize it, and it sacrificially disintegrates the big object at the same time. Also, second week here, we're gonna take some of these exercises out of your book and literally extrude them. Instead of just a pentagon and triangle, we'll make a polyline out of this key-shaped object and extrude it. We'll also play with visual styles. This is where it really taxes your computer. And lately, I've noticed when I start spray painting solid objects, that's when my computer goes bad. And, I get frustrated and shut it off, have a beer and come back. So about time to upgrade my computer, I guess. Last part of the second week is more of the same. Yeah, additional practice. This is conceptual spray painting. This is hidden. Hidden. And I forget what this is. X-ray, yeah. X-ray style of spray painting. We'll close that guy. Let's see, week number 3. This is getting into some two-dimensional stuff. Well, blocks, first item, that you can make a 2D rubber stamp or you can make a 3D rubber stamp. And a block is a cluster of stuff that's packaged into one assembly. So you can replicate the assembly, stamp, just like an ink stamp. Very economical way to work drawings, because these rather than copying this with 30 or 50 different parts, you just copy. You just state the XYZ scale and a few other factors where you drop the rubber stamp to place this, virtual copy of it, that you might say. Also, while we're playing with blocks, there's a way you can add little spreadsheets to blocks. And here I tasked classes to make a simple, maybe not as fancy as this office chair, but we make a block, and along with it rides a database of the manufacturer, the model number, and the price. And I see it later on. I'll show you a title block that has attributes in. But you know, if you're smart enough, you can rig a spreadsheet so that it'll, you know, hey, how many of the Sears 1, 2, 3, 4 chairs do we have to buy, or what's the cost of all of them? Well, a spreadsheet will count all these blocks, add up the price of all of them, and give you tally up the total. Oh, I'm at the wrong end of week number 3. That's week number 6. Let me start back here. Week number 3 is more of the same we did on week number 2, just snapping stuff together with the align command. When we get into, this is a pretty long project, but you know, we end up making this sawhorse. I'm going to turn it into a conceptual, or turn it into a X-ray. So I have to admit, it's, you kind of get into the twilight zone when you're working with 3D. Here's an extra page of busy work for the few that are motivated. Doubt I'll assign it, but you know, there's different ways you can make a sawhorse. This is literally a model of my cat tree. Oh, I think I did assign this sandbox one time. That's pretty simple. You know, make up your own dimensions, just use standard lumber, 2x6s, you know. 4th week, we get into the revolve command where we draw a, you know, we kind of like slice an apple. So you're looking at just the quarter of an apple. You draw it anyway, you spin this thing around and you end up making a revolved solid. This one would be, the bulk of it is a revolved solid, and I put a cylinder through them both, arrayed it around 6 times, exploded the array, and then from the big object subtracted the 6 cylinders to come up with that exercise number 42. This is with the intersect process. You end up drawing 2 views of a table leg. On the next page, we rotate one of the 2 views so they intersect. You see one solid is 90 degrees away from the other. And with AutoCAD's intersect, you can come out with the woodworking. I had an exercise of a salad fork. Not sure why I dropped it out, but you know, it's a neat little modeling tool. Reserve the right to have you use it and make an end table for homework. Here, as we're getting back to 2-dimensional stuff, there's a way you can tally so that, hey, Mr. AutoCAD, select everything that is not a perfect 45 degrees or is on a is color that is not bi-layer. There's a way you can query to select stuff to nitpick, to globally make changes. Like in this exercise, you might say, hey, select all the text that is this text style, but not at 0 degrees. And I don't know how many there are in here, but in just a few steps, you can straighten all of those pieces of text that meet that criteria. We also learned to control the user coordinate system. You know, today, up to now, we've always used this XYZ here in the corner. I got my UCS ICON set for no origin. Put it back to origin, and nothing happened. Oh, there it is. So I think by default, y'all have been working with the UCS icon. Let me go back to a plan view really quick here. Y'all have been looking at this XY here. You can say, by golly, I want X to, I don't know, X to go from the center of this circle to the center of that circle. And this point would be on the XY plane. Figuring this is the x-axis, this point would be on the XY plane. So by default, Z is straight up. So with, where was that? So you can effectively put a XYZ coordinate on the roof, a sloped roof, or any side of this little block of wood here, to put your sunroof, or make a gable on one of the vertical surfaces. Not sure if that's required for the final, but now we get back to viewports. We got a viewport here showing a sort of a three-dimensional pictorial. Your mission is to take an object and arrange viewports and adjust the scale so that you're literally seeing the front, top, and right side view of your 3D part. There's a way you can practically generate the side view with center lines and hidden lines. Well, at least hidden lines. But I haven't learned that enough, especially not to teach it. 6 weeks. Didn't we already learn block? Oh, okay. I showed you this 20 minutes ago. We'll make some furniture, and okay, now we're into a different subject, but we'll assign attributes to blocks. We'll also learn XREFs, and that is where one CAD operator might own the foundation drawing, another the demolition plan, another the existing condition, another, you might have a dozen different CAD operators, each with a different specialty, but you can't have them all working on the exact same drawing file, DWG file. There might be softwares that you can do that. So the punchline is everybody's got working on their own separate .dwg file, but everybody is linking to each other's, so that if the foundation changes in just a couple of minutes, everybody across the shared network gets an update and can see, oh, they've extended this room another 5 feet out. Must have found another investor. I better fix my floor plan or my electrical or sprinkler system to catch up with this additional foundation. I think these are used very, very well, very common in construction work. I don't know how we'll do it. I don't know of a shared drive we can all use from our homes. At the shipyard, it was possible. We'd all use I believe it's the iDrive. And but each of us might have to pretend we're 3 different CAD operators and keep toggling between drawings to see how that works. Let's see, week number 7. We'll get into some animation. And I'll give you this as a sample drawing. I forget which is which. I think the brown line is where a camera would follow like it's on a model railroad. And it'll be aimed at this magenta line that's on the floor. So you can it's a crude way of making an animation, a fly through, as it wraps around. You can record it. In fact, I got one here. If I could find it easy. Let's see, it takes forever. Spring. Animate. Yeah, check this out. Hope it doesn't crash my computer, but I made this one just before class today. And there's simpler ways we can orbit around a sawhorse. We don't have to make a path for the target, path for the camera like in this one. I don't know, to get any more realistic would probably take an expensive computer and a lot of overnight time of rendering, as they call it. Hit escape, bail out if I can. And what else? Okay, then we get into the final project. By the way, all of this is tentative. If y'all say, no, we don't want that, let me know. I'll pass out. This is the requirements for your final project. We're to make a birdhouse. And this one's a little overkill. You don't need to make the 4-piece magenta roof. Most students just make a 2-piece, instead of 4. But make all of this. I don't think there's text styles or dimension styles, but form it into a block and assign it attributes. Deliver it with the viewport showing the 3D pictorial, the top, front, and right side view, all the same scale, so you can draw straight lines to show that the views line up. Nice and neat. Here's where the attributes come in. I see this a lot in business. Double click on this block. This is an ink image with a lot of attributes in it. And all right, come on, Burgener. There. Does this stretch out? Somebody can change the name of the drawing, the description, the date, time, and all this stuff, because all of these are like hidden database rows by attributes. And these particular attributes are rigged so that they will appear in this text height, this font, this justification. Moving right along, here's some birdhouse examples. These are 3 that students did. And quite frankly, they had a lot more spare time than I have. But, these 2, I named the student that did this back in 8 years ago. The Mickey Mouse one was just done last fall. Let's see if I can. Yeah, Damian Conyers made this. I thought that was clever to put ears on a birdhouse. The middle ones are ones that I made. These 2, I think I pushed back because they don't meet the requirements. They don't have 7 pieces of wood. So don't follow these 2. And I forget what these are. These might be student versions. Yeah, I remember a student cutting the opening for the birdhouse like another bird. That's what we're in store for. Once in a while somebody says, well, what's going to be the advanced class? And I always wonder if we got the hardware to make photorealistic AutoCAD drawings. Now that I think of it, I don't know why it's not in the handout. I did some animations. You can go to YouTube, and there's ways. It's a lot of programming work, but you can kind of make a simple one as a simple car that drives, from the left side to the right side of your screen. And there's YouTube videos of a piston going up and down, and turning the crankshaft via the connecting rod. But I was kind of had a 50-50 batting average of whether mine would work or not. So I don't know that I'll try to teach that again. Oh, and we got another topic is some custom programs like these express tools are custom programs. Somebody wrote a program that'll take lines of text and you click them in the order and it'll weld them all together into a single M-text. This is an old program. You have an arc, and with this program you can put Newport News shipbuilding around an arc. And you can get free programs off the internet. What are some of them? One of, I can demonstrate a few, but I really can't really say there's any that I frequent. And at one time I had a program that, you'd have the landscaping and everything's in a polyline. You just launch the program, type the command that triggers it, click on a polyline, and then click in open space, and it would put a piece of text, say, in the square footage. I used that back in the Army transportation days. And the architect would take my numbers for the parking lot and say, oh, okay, that's so many thousand square feet or square yards of asphalt, and he'd come up with an estimate. But at one time, I don't know that I can do it now, but I opened up the program. You can read it in Notepad, and I found the line that does the arithmetic to convert square feet into square meters or square yards, and hacked it so it would give the number in acres, for example, just by finding the line and editing the the conversion factors. So anyway, again, I encourage you, if you haven't already, to sign up for intermediate and sign up for something. Take advantage of this cheap education. So call it a quarter and let you go 10-15 early. And I've already received one final. And so start bringing them in. And I highly doubt I'll hold back a certificate, since you've done, attended and done so many homework already. Okay. Yet tonight I'll send an email out that the recording is in the classroom and on YouTube. I usually put the message out before YouTube is finished doing its thing. It takes 30 or 60 minutes to transfer and then compile, or whatever the word is, process. I'll tell you where it will be when it's done.
Hey, Paul, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So we were asked in our surveys about what we thought about the online classes. How do you feel about teaching AutoCAD online?
Well, it's sure is convenient. I don't have to walk blocks from a parking space. One thing I regret is I wish I could see students' monitors. I know one man that figured out how to do that, but I can't tell who's following me and who's so lost but embarrassed to let the classmates know that he's lost. So I wish I could see the students' monitors. What else? It'd be nice if we had a shared drive, like I mentioned earlier. I have a feeling that's, when this pandemic stuff's over, I think a lot of businesses and schools are going to continue with internet stuff. And I think it saves a lot of money on utilities, transportation.
Yeah, I don't think I would have attended if I had to go down to the apprentice school or something. So it was very convenient.
Copy that. I wish we could have given you software.
When you were teaching it in person, was there like computers set up for the students, or did they have to bring their own laptops?
There's, the apprentice school has, I don't know, several, 3, 4, 10, it has several rooms where every student has its own, has a computer. And security concerns that, used to be that you just turn things on and type the password and double click on the AutoCAD icon and you're ready to go. Some computers, you always a risk of a student. Gee, I wonder what this does. And, nobody remembers what he did to fix it the way it was. I deal with that. Sometimes I ask a student, well, I can't fix this right now. Can you move to another computer? We'd have an overhead projector, and I don't know why, but people still have this mental block that the instructor has to be in front of the class. Well, I wish they'd put the instructor station in the back of the class. You see everything on the projector. Why do you have to look at the instructor's face? And that way the instructor can see who's checking the price, stock prices or sports stats instead of doing his homework. Anyway, I'm starting to babble. Let me let you go. Stay in touch. And I hope to hear from you again.
Thanks, Paul.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks again, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks.
Okay. Catch you later. Why is it still end meeting for all?